And the thing about society telling us who we are and how we should be and stuff is that it changes so often. So your identity is constantly changing. And so you're always I don't know who I am, or I'm trying to find myself. Oh my God. I'm sick of that. I'm so sick of it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl KB of Heart Combos, and today you are joining me and my guest in the Heart Seat, where we have conversations that are honest, elephant-sized, authentic, real, and transparent. My guest today is Margaret Humphrey. She is from Waco, Texas, currently residing in Dallas. She works with inner city children, is super passionate about nonprofits, and she has most recently written a book called Lost Identity of a Daddy's Girl, A Journey to the Father's Heart. I love this woman. Please welcome to the show, Margaret Humphrey. Ow.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Thank you for joining me in the Heart Seat, where we have conversations that are honest, elephant-sized, authentic, real, and transparent. So this candid conversation is going to be quick. I'm going to ask you these 5 questions, mainly centered around your book. So first things first. In your book, you explain your relationship with your father, or I guess your estranged relationship with your father. Tell me how that relationship impacted your perspective of men as a whole growing up. Be honest.
Yeah. So that is kind of an interesting question, because I feel like my broken relationship with my dad impacted my relationship with men in 2 ways. There was this desire for protection and for affirmation and love from men, but then there was this major distrust towards men at the same time. So you can only imagine there's a tension there when you desire something, you desire this relationship from men, but then at the same time, you don't trust them. And so growing up, that was a lot of my experience with men. My best friends growing up, some of them had amazing fathers, but I could never bring myself to refer to another guy as dad or daddy besides my actual biological dad. And it's crazy because I would call their moms mama all the time, but their dads were always their name, because I could not trust another man in that role, because that role had been broken by my earthly dad, you know what I mean? By my biological dad. So yeah, it was interesting. So to say the least, there's a tension there growing up for sure.
Okay, I get that, and I feel you on that. My dad left before I was born, so it was just me and my mom for the first 4 years, but she got remarried to a good man, and so I didn't have an issue calling him dad. But I remember that when I was 11 or 12, going through this phase where I was I'm not calling you daddy no more, because I was mad at him, and I felt like taking that title away from him was the only thing that I could do to maybe hurt his feelings and impact him in that way. And I think I got a whooping, and then I was all right, I'm over it. But I feel you. Thank you so much for answering honestly. So when it comes to women in fatherlessness, what do you feel like the elephant in the room is? Not every girl maybe goes down the path that you went through as a result of not having their father, but is there an elephant in the room that you think is maybe similar amongst women who grow up without their dads?
Well, I think the elephant in the room is making sure that you address the wounds and how your dad not being there actually impacted you, because I know our paths will look a lot different, but there's still wounds and hurt that is there from the absence of your dad. And a lot of women, some of us, we grow up and we be I don't need no daddy. I listen, as a kid, unfortunately, I used to refer to my dad as my sperm donor, in a way to try to disassociate myself with him. I was too young to really know what I was saying. I heard it somewhere and just picked it up. But in that time, I was trying to guard and protect myself. I don't need a guy. But then, as I got older, of course, this distrust came. And then some women, even began to try to take away the authority that a man has. They don't ever want a man to be over them or lead them in any kind of way, so they try to belittle them. But a lot of those different wounds can go unaddressed, because women they'll be I don't have no issues, my daddy wasn't there, that's fine, I didn't need him anyway. But the reality is that there are wounds there that are left by the absence of our dads, and if we don't address them, like, they will show up in so many other areas in our life. And I think that is the elephant in the room. It's like addressing the real, like being real and honest with yourself to say, hey, my daddy not being there did impact me and it did hurt me, and now I need to do the work to try to start digging up those wounds and allowing them to heal, so that in other areas of my life this won't be such a great like impact, you know?
Yeah, that's real good. And actually, you speak to the twofold part of the E in the heart acronym. So you've got elephant-sized issues and the elephant in the room. So you're even talking about an elephant-sized issue and an elephant-sized conversation that a person needs to have with themselves about how this disappointment, this absentee father or whatever is really affecting the way that they build social and emotional connections with other people, how they attach to other people, how it's affected the way that they go about building other relationships. And so I love that you hit both sides of the E. So this leads me to the A, authentic. How do you show up as your most authentic self now? You mentioned in certain chapters in the book about how when you were dating, you just wanted to become whatever they needed you to be, right? These boyfriends that you had. And so how do you show up as your most authentic self now? Do you still feel the pressure to just become what people want you to become, whether it be in romantic relationships or in your friendships or whatever? How do you commit to that?
Yeah, so I know I talk about it in the context of these dating relationships that I had, but honestly, that was a thing in every relationship. Like, I am like a performer by nature. Like, I try to be whatever I think the person needs from me or wants me to be in that space that will give me that love and affirmation. And a lot of times that's not my authentic self. So right now, I'm really still on this journey of trying to figure out and discover what and who my authentic self really is, because for so long I have kind of put that to the side to try to get this affirmation and this love from other people. And so like even today, like I told myself like I was going to be authentic, I was going to be transparent, I was going to really try to show up. And I am. This is my authentic self showing up right now. But I want to see that happen in every area of my life. And so sometimes it's like I'm going into relationships or into friendships or into, even at work and with family and stuff. And I have to address the lie that I've been believing, that who I am at my core is not enough, or is too much, and try to put that to the side and try to embrace my authentic self. And I have people in my life, I talked about it in the book, who will ask me questions like, hey, did you allow yourself to show up today? Or did you try to hide? Did you try to blend in, or whatever? And so having that accountability is like important for me to really embrace it. And so I think it's a journey, to be honest, of just uncovering and rediscovering who I am and how God created me.
Yes, I'm so excited that you decided to show up as your most authentic self here in the Heart Seat. We would have it no other way. Okay, you are over the hump and we are into the R, which stands for real conversations. And so this is not about being real, it's about addressing real issues in real time. So the impact of a father in the life of a daughter is huge, right? So what do you think one of the real issues in real time is concerning young girls and their identity?
This is something I feel like I could low-key be on the soapbox about. But
all of the soapbox, give it to us now.
For me, I think, and just even in my work, I think that one of the things that the real issues that are facing girls and their identity and even women is that society is coming from all angles trying to tell them who they are. And I think that sometimes as girls, we get our affirmation from our fathers, and when that's missing, we try to find affirmation in other ways, and society will tell you who you have to be, what's beautiful, what's acceptable, what's successful, all those kinds of things. And so all these different angles, you have society trying to tell you what to be, who to be, how to be, and you don't really have a foundation for who you really are. And I think a lot of women, a lot of people in general, their identity is tied to external, materialistic, like job type things, but really our identity, like, it should be rooted and grounded in Christ, because before, like, we were ever even created, he knew us by name. You know, he had purpose and a plan for us, and a lot of us don't really understand that. And so we're grabbing things from everywhere else, trying to piece together our identity. And the thing about society telling us who we are and how we should be and stuff is that it changes so often. So your identity is constantly changing. And so you're always like, I don't know who I am, or I'm trying to find myself. Oh my gosh. I'm sick of that. I'm so sick of it. And it's just like, if we could just really, really, really grab a hold on to who we are in Christ, like, that is the one unchangeable, consistent thing that we have. You know what I mean? And that's where we gotta be rooted and grounded in that, because as those other things are trying to come at us, telling us who to be, as those dad wounds resurface and you looking for affirmation or whatever, you have that reminder of truth in you that is like, no, your identity is not found in a person, in a relationship, in a job, in a title, in an accolade. It is founded and grounded in Christ and who he called you and created you to be. You know?
Hey, preach.
Listen. For real, can be on the soapbox about that.
I mean, I'm just saying, you got something else?
Nah, I'll leave it there.
All right. Well, you made it to the T. This is one of my favorite questions every time I get to sit with someone in the heart seat, because we are allowing people to see into the things that they would not see unless we otherwise expose them. When you are being transparent, you're talking about your expectations, your boundaries, your dreams, your hopes, your fears, your insecurities, things that people can't see unless we expose them. So for you, transparently speaking, what are the next steps for you, whether that be personally or professionally connected to the book? Tell us.
Yeah. So, this book is out, and it's of course about my relationship with my dad, and how that impacted my identity and my relationship with the Lord, and how God is like redeeming and just helping me to rediscover and reclaim my identity in him. But I am not there yet. This is a process, this is a journey. And so for me personally, I'm still trying to figure out what it looks like to navigate this desire to have a deeper relationship with my dad. But
even now, wait.
Of rejection.
You're still navigating what it would look like to have a relationship with your dad. How old are you now?
I'm 30.
You're 30, and you're trying to figure out, what does it look like to start something with him, or to like maintain something with him? What do you mean?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, we talk every once in a while, but there's no depth there right now. And I desire a deep relationship with my dad. Like, that's always been a desire of mine since I was a child. But in various seasons, like, it's just looked different. We've tried to have conversations, and that fear of rejection will creep in, or he won't respond in the way that I had hoped for or expected. And so right now I'm like, okay, God, if our relationship is as deep as it's ever going to get, how do I navigate that? How do I still love my dad? How do I not become bitter because my expectations or my hopes are not met? But also, God, like, how do I not engage with him fearfully? Like, because I'm afraid that he might reject me, or some of those insecurities might come back up, or I'm afraid that he's going to hurt me. So how do I like navigate that, that desire and that fear at the same time? And so I just feel like, I don't know how much time I have left on this earth, or how much time my dad has left either, but I want to know that I did my part. I did what I could to try to restore and reconcile our relationship. And my dad, sometimes he doesn't believe that there's anything wrong with my relationship. So what do I do with that? Like, if he don't think it's nothing wrong, and I'm like, but I want more, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? So I'm constantly trying to navigate that. And so I just want to say, like, I'm not there. I'm not there yet. This is still a journey, and God is still teaching me and helping me to learn things about myself and about him and about my dad, and how to navigate our relationship healthily, because I do have to put up boundaries. I do have certain expectations, but I really believe that God will help me to figure out what that looks like, you know?
Yeah, that's good. I think a lot of what you're mentioning is common in a lot of our relationships. So whether you're watching this and you have an estranged relationship with your dad, or you're just thinking about your marriage, your friendships, whatever, somebody you're dating, that balance of expressing desire and expectation coupled with the fear of rejection is a whole thing, and it's a constant tension that I think all of us like can relate to, trying to navigate in some relationship or the other. And at some point you have to lean into vulnerability, right? Because vulnerability is the way forward. And vulnerability says, I am going to expose myself to the point of being wounded, knowing that if the person meets you in that vulnerability, there's an abundance of unconditional love and acceptance there, and just juice, right, to help the relationship like move forward. But when you're vulnerable with somebody and they reject you and they don't meet you in that vulnerability, that could feel like so defeating and discouraging. And so it's a risk that we take, but we have to be convinced that the benefit of the risk in the event that they meet us there is absolutely worth the courage to lean in. And so thank you, Margaret, for just being so transparent and vulnerable with us today about the fact that you wrote a whole book about your daddy and your broken relationship with him, and that you still working through your broken relationship with your daddy. That's the beautiful part of all of this. And so thank you for joining us today in the Heart Seat. I think you did a great job. Great job.
Listen, thank you so much for having me. I really am honored, and this was great. This was good for me.
And hopefully those of you who are watching are encouraged to have your own heart conversations. If you want more content like the content that we're producing here on this show or on the Heart Convos platform, you can always become a Heart Convos member. There we will help you with tools and resources to have the conversations that are honest, elephant-sized, authentic, real, and transparent. Until next time, I want you to remember, it is not a hard conversation. It is a heart conversation. Love y'all. Peace.